Okay, so we are back here. This is the Padernacht Podcast, Brick by Brick, and this is episode 3. 3 of God knows how many. When I first started doing this, listen, first of all, I've been wanting to do a podcast for years, and this year I decided to really go head first, and I, got some inspiration from a gentleman that I had met actually within the past year, Dave Regina, who has a podcast of his own, a pretty successful podcast called the No Snooze Podcast. And I spoke to Dave, and Dave's an interesting character because let me not say character. Dave's an interesting person because he is somebody who has been an instrumental character in my life in the past, 8 to 10 months. I talked to him, and he was telling me about his experiences in podcasting, and he was kind of giving me some pointers. And he kind of laid out the foundation, I guess, for the first 4 or 5 episodes, and which we are currently in episode 3, and just to kind of talk about what I wanted to talk about and what this platform was going to be. So just a huge shout out to Dave, and thank you very much, man. You really have helped me tremendously. Never mind the fact of giving me the inspiration to actually dive headfirst into this, but connecting me with your partner, Claudio here, and Kaya Visions in this amazing studio that I'm sitting in right now. So just want to give you a quick shout out. But episode 3 is about real people, real stories, real situations in life that you deal with. And it's really focused more on people. And the reason why I chose to make this a topic is because I plan on having guests here. And it's going to be a wide range of guests. It's going to be people that have been instrumental in my life. It's going to be people that I have looked up to at different points of my life. It's going to be people that maybe differ in opinions. I think it's important to have intelligent conversations and not just to lash out and completely disregard people who have different opinions. Another aspect to the real people is talking about people that have possibly had different experiences than me, and older generations of people. I came across this product on my timeline, I'd say probably about a year or 2 ago, and it was called, I forgot the name of it, but it's basically a set of cards that prompts you to ask anywhere from, I think it's 100 or 150 questions to ask older generations. And this interests me a lot because, as I've discussed in great detail, I lost my father in 2009. So here we are, 2025, going on 16 years later. I don't have any voice. I don't have any video. I don't have anything of my father. And it was important for me to not repeat that for future generations. My nieces, my nephews, I wanted them to hear directly from the source stories that get passed down. So, you're going to hear a lot of stories that I understand them to be true. But you know how it is. I mean, stories kind of get inflated at times. They get, they're not the exact story of what happened, but they're just kind of stories that get passed down through families. So what I wanted to do with this set of cards and prompts was interview older generations of my family and other people's families to kind of get it directly from them and then put it live out on the internet and allow 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, God knows, maybe even 100 years from now, directly from the source, exactly what those stories are. And it's not necessarily deep, right? It's not necessarily asking them their take on life. It's really just asking them questions like, who were your childhood best friends? Who took you out on your first date, or who was the first girl that you took out on a date? Questions like this that I feel like get overlooked a lot when you're talking about somebody's life. There's an expression that, you have, 2 dates on your tombstone. You have the date you're born and the date you end. But what your life is really about is that dash in the middle. And that dash kind of gets overlooked. And you think of these moments in your life that, or in a person's life after they're gone, that you kind of pinpoint, and those memories stand out in your head, but you don't get to hear from that person anymore about what really they thought their life was about. So I say all this to say that episode 3 here, we're going to talk about real people. And this is just a deep dive into why I want to talk to real people and why I think that real people and real stories matter. We're living in a very, very fast-paced world. And, if you scroll through your social feed, you don't actually really get to see what's going on in people's lives. So I wanted to take a time out and just slow it down a little bit and give people a platform to talk about what's important to them, talk about their history, talk about their origins, talk about things that actually mean something to them and that have possibly shaped their lives. Our past generations faced challenges. They really did. And it's important to highlight those challenges and really discuss what it is that they feel is important to them. So real people is really going to be based on giving people the platform to tell their story. I am here to tell my story, but I'm also here to give a platform to other people to tell their story. So that's what's real people. That's the real people aspect of the podcast. And, on my way out here to the studio this morning, I was, I was listening to a couple different videos and I was, one thing stood out. And what they said was that your first 100 episodes are not going to be good, right? So like I'm sitting here literally and, looking at a camera, talking to you guys, but really just talking to myself and trying to figure out a way to really express myself and to really give myself the ability to get better at podcasting. So that's what I'm doing here. And I'm kind of going off on a tangent a little bit. So I'm going to try to bring it back around for you guys. This podcast is more than just business. This podcast is more than just deep dives into the real estate market. A lot of people look at me and they think real estate, right? If you look at my shirt that I'm wearing right now, realtors need closure. So this is a shirt that I like to wear, and I feel like it's a play on words because obviously as realtors, we got to close deals to be good realtors. But it's important for people to understand there's a lot of different aspects to my life. There is the personal aspect. There is the health aspect. There is the spiritual aspect. There is the work aspect. And all of these things make up who I am. And that's what this podcast is going to be about. So, this podcast is not going to be a long one, this specific episode. I just wanted to tell you guys a little bit about what I'm feeling and why I feel like it's important to focus on real people. So buckle up and thanks for tuning in and take care, everybody. See you next episode.